But first of all, let me take the time to introduce Justin.
Hi.
Tammy, his wonderful fiancée of 20 years. From Dorchester, Massachusetts. And over there, two of his three primary caregivers. So, I don't know if you guys want to seat, stand, up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. So let me tell you a little bit about Justin. He's going to talk quite a bit about his story and his journey. And one of the first people that he met in Tobii Dynavox about 10 years ago. So we're just kind of reminiscing a little bit about that. But Justin has a very unique story. He's going to go into it in detail, but to give you a little bit of an overview. When he was 14, and again, now this is dating some of us, there was a famous movie called Back to the Future. How many of you saw that? Okay. Remember a scene with a skateboard? Justin was a daredevil. What do you think? So Justin is going to talk about his journey, but right every day, taking chances, having fun, being who he was, in 1 minute, what can happen. So he's going to talk a little bit about that, but he was inspired by that movie, and now you have some other inspirations that you're going to talk about. After his accident, which he's going to talk about in more detail, he spent a year in rehab. And in that whole entire year, can you imagine being a 14-year-old with no ability to communicate? He can, and because they've been together so long, he have a communication. However, for the rest of us, not always, caregivers especially, being able to communicate what his needs and wants were. So he's going to talk about the journey that he got there, and what he used, and how far he went, and how we're going in and out of this, huh? Wow, the lights are good and everything. How his journey was from a letterboard, basically, to where he is with an I-Series, and not always an easy one. And at 16, when you really did get into communication device, how it changed your life, and really talking about that. Just a little background, he's an avid chess player, loves to read, loves Star Wars. Game of Thrones, he's not so happy with anymore, so he's definitely going to take off the table. And this is where he and I really need, or maybe this is where our roads part, is because I hear him say every little bit about the Steelers to me. Every little bit. On here, and I asked about the Patriots, and he wouldn't even say a word. So without further ado, we're going to please introduce Justin and talk about his story, and then we're going to have some questions and answers afterwards. Thank you, Justin.
Hello, everyone. Lend me your ears, because of all of you, for the first time I am able to speak, and to be understood by more than just my family and close friends. My name is Justin Wickram, and I am so very happy to be here. 30 years ago yesterday, I had a life-altering accident. I was 14 years old, doing my best to navigate a skateboard. Unfortunately, I lost my balance and fell to the blacktop, not realizing that I had smacked my head hard with the fall. I got up, brushed myself up, and headed home. A few hours later, I wasn't feeling well and began to convulse. My parents rushed me to our local hospital. On the way to the hospital, we were halted by a train going through our hometown of Oil City. It wasn't a very long train, but every second counted. To make a long story short, Lifeline transported me to Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh. En route to the hospital, I had a massive stroke. Diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury, I had surgery to remove a clot. I was in a coma for 11 days and then a semi-coma for a month. I spent a year in the Lake Erie Institute of Rehabilitation. For a long time they didn't think that I could understand what they were saying, let alone recognize my family. As my family would talk among themselves around me, and would say my brother's name, they noticed that I would look at my brother every time they mentioned his name. Thankfully they knew I wasn't there. They just had to figure out a way to help me find my voice. With many hours of speech therapy, they devised a letter board that others would use to talk with me. They would say letters and I would nod my head yes or no. A lengthy process, but it worked. When I returned home, and back to school, I had a communicator that worked with 2 click pads. I would click it, and it would scan the top or bottom of the screen. I would then click it when it reached the row I needed. It was monotonous. The voice didn't always work, so I would make short sentences. Like when my high school attendant, Jenny, helped me with the project for Intro to Technology. I had to make a wooden car. I would say, "Sand that baby," over and over again. I can recall another time when my voice synthesizer almost got me in trouble. I was in 9th grade algebra class. We were going over our homework. Mr. O'Brien called on me to answer a question. I had phrases already programmed into my communicator. Remember me saying my voice synthesizer didn't always work properly for me? Well, this is the one time that I wish it hadn't. I accidentally clicked on a phrase that sent the whole class up in laughter. Mr. O'Brien called on me, and as frantic as I was to answer the question, I hit the wrong phrase. It said, "Hold your horses, bucko." It was funny, yet embarrassing. Needless to say, I didn't talk much. Whether hitting the wrong phrase or it not working properly made it easier to stay silent. After my freshman year in high school, I used a compact laptop with a C-Tech voice synthesizer. It had about 8 different voices. The voice wouldn't always work well. For my senior year, I used an IBM ThinkPad. This worked as well as the compact, or should I say it didn't. So, for most of my teen years I didn't have a voice of my own, and would need to speak with the help of others. In 1997, a new attendant, Tammy, came into my life. I am proud to say she is my fiancée. She, as well as others, were back to using the letterboard to converse with me. She told me that I needed to use my voice more, so I would do my best to sound out words and try to talk, and when needed we would resort to the letterboard. September of 2002, I became a father, and it was even more important for me to find my own voice so I could talk with my own son, Sam. During this time we were trying to find someone to help me with the communication device. Even though I could easily talk with Tammy, she wanted very much for me to have a voice so that when I wanted to say something to others, they would look at me and not her, when I was speaking. In 2010 I found a local speech therapist who introduced me to my very first Tobii Dynavox. It was a little rough around the edges, as I would try to work with it. I managed to use my Tobii from time to time. I was able to go to my son's preschool and read a book for him and his classmates. At one point, Sam stood up, and with a huge smile told his friends proudly, "That's my dad." The Tobii did work well that day, however Tammy had to take care of prompting it. It didn't always work for me the way that it should have. Not to mention that it would constantly update and I began to get frustrated with it. They had a device hooked to my ball cap that was similar to an eye gaze where it would track like a mouse. Needless to say this didn't work well. I ended up using a trackball. Using a trackball was very tiring, and not always worked well. I have to be honest, I had Tammy put it on a shelf and I just went back to my letterboard. One morning in December of 2015, I was watching Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. Mr. Gumbel was interviewing a former Baltimore Raven player, O.J. Briggins, who was afflicted with ALS and unable to verbalize on his own. I was engrossed in the device he was using to communicate with. The majority of the time the camera was on him. However, for one fleeting moment I noticed Tobii Dynavox. I thought to myself, hey, Tobii. I know Tobii. My Tobii didn't look anything like that one. I immediately started doing my own research on this. I then contacted the speech therapist and got the ball rolling. It took a while, as these things do, but after several meetings and an evaluation, my new Tobii was ordered. November of 2017, my Tobii Dynavox I-12 Plus was delivered and my life would never be the same. Not only am I able to verbalize with others, I am also able to utilize my email and enjoy messaging others on Facebook and text messaging. I play chess, and I also have a library account with the Philadelphia Library and the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. Another use I have found with my new voice is my ability to talk to Alexa. You guys are familiar with her. She's from Amazon. Not only will she answer all my questions, she reads my ebooks to me while I follow along, as well as she tells me a joke or two. We've become pretty good friends. I have grown and come a long way from the letterboard. The eye gaze has been a blessing. My life is a blessing. You all have been a blessing, and I wish to thank you for all you have done for me and others like me who need to be heard.
Thank you. So I have to tell you one other funny story. So one thing we often talk about, especially our users, and we were talking about this. We talked about Sam being a daredevil and a class clown. And when he had his ability, he can't really communicate that with a letterboard, right? Your personality, fun, and the ability. I mean, he couldn't even concentrate on everything when he could tell his jokes outside. One of them, what he wanted to do when we were all lining up, he said, "Wouldn't it be funny if I set my arm right now and see everybody run?" Thank you for not doing that, because that would have been a problem. The other thing, we're going to ask some questions. The other thing that we wanted to make note of is we talked about the play. He did an eloquent job of talking about his journey and what he goes through. But one of the things that our families also struggle with is Tammy's the mother of his child, and she's a fiancée for 20 years. And the reason she's a fiancée is if she were to marry Sam, she would...
Justin.
Oh, Justin, sorry.
I'm not marrying my kid.
You're she would lose the benefits. That they would lose their benefits. So not everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't get paid for taking care of him, and
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Yeah, if I marry him, I lose my job taking care of him, and it's the best job I've ever had. I'm not sorry I'm not going to marry him.
Well, I get to marry your son, so there you go. How about some questions that we can answer? Oh, come on.
One.
Dan Luca, where are you? What device did Justin start with?
Justin, if I remember, you were using head pointing with the dot on your forehead at first, so this is a big difference from what you're used to. Can you tell me a little bit about how this one works compared to the other one that you had before?
He's ready for you. Oh, you're going to talk. Okay.
This is much faster and more accurate.
How about some other questions? Ms. Linnea?
So I work on the development side of our business, so my question is related to that. I'm wondering what it is, so you've got this new device. What are the things that we still need to do for you? What are the things that you think would be most beneficial for us to be working on going forward?
So Justin, you have software, you have hardware, you have customer service, you have tech support, you have the whole kit and caboodle here of everything in this device. What would you want? He's ready for you, Linnea.
Yeah, sure is. I'm still prompting. Okay.
I do have a suggestion. Are you in the process of, or is it possible to make a travel size token? It would be nice to have something in a more convenient size that is only for communicating. There is no need for all extras, like in the I-12. It would be wonderful to have something like that off to one side, so that I can have it with me at all times. I have to sit at an angle to watch television with my family if I want to talk to them. I can't operate my power share with my Tobii in front of me. I also believe it would be very satisfying to order my own meal at a restaurant. I would be more than happy to test one out for you guys. Winky face.
David, microphone will go to you.
Yeah, so my question might be a little bit more important. What do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be next year?
This is where Justin's sense of humor, he said the Super Bowl, we had a little bit of disagreement.
And 19-0, baby.
That's great. John, Mike.
So my question is actually less for Justin and more for wives and everything but me at the moment, and caregivers in general. So we overlook you, I feel, a lot of the time. So I want to know what, it's kind of a similar question, but just more directed towards you. What can we do to help you guys? Because I feel like a lot of the conversation, or most of the conversation we have in technical support, customer support, is with the caregivers, trying to help the person using the device. So what can we do on that end to assist you there?
Assist us.
Yes.
Get him a smaller one. We're in the process right now of getting him a new power chair that he can drive himself. This one he's having issues with. But it would be really nice, like he said, to have something off to the side. What I find really nice with this now is he's no longer, because he doesn't have a voice, he can let out a high-pitched noise to get my attention. But now, instead of me running back trying to figure out what he needs, he can tell me right away, please, Tammy, please, can you help me? And other things I'm not going to discuss right now. But I would love to have something much smaller than this that he can have with him at all times to talk to everybody. Because I find prior to this, everybody would look at me, even though they asked him the question, they look at me, no, please look at him. Yes, I'm the caregiver, and people do tend to worry about us, but I worry